This is a 2007 Toyota Camry. It has a 3.5-liter 2GR-FE V6 engine. This car is in our shop because it has a coolant leak, and it was not known exactly where the coolant was leaking, but it was noticed that the coolant level was dropping in between maintenance intervals or visits to the shop. And this is always cause for concern because coolant level should never drop. The coolant system is a sealed system, and if the coolant level drops, that means there is a leak somewhere. So we do what we always do when we suspect a leak and we need to find where it is we use this pressure testing tool that attaches right to the radiator neck, and by pressurizing the system we can see pretty quickly where coolant is coming out from. Now in this case, coolant was coming out of the front of the radiator right through the grill here. So the fix for this is to replace the radiator. I do recommend that you get yourself one of these pressure testing tools. They're very affordable, one of the most useful tools I have in my shop. To replace the radiator, we do have to remove this cross member, and that will give enough room for the radiator to come out. But first, we're going to drain the radiator. The radiator drain plug is right down there. You can see it is that yellowish stopcock, and we can reach down from above. We place a drain pan underneath, and there it is. You can see that coolant is flowing right out. So while this is flowing out, we're gonna go ahead and remove the cross member. To get the cross member out, first this air intake has to come off the cross member, and it has some stuff attached to it. You just have to be careful when removing it to remember where everything came from. This air intake comes off very easily if you just loosen the little hoses from here, and you just loosen up the electrical wire from here, which this little thing just broke as soon as we touched it. So this allows this to come completely out. We're also going to need to remove this lower portion of the intake right here, and this goes into the bottom of the air box, and it can be a little bit tricky to dislodge it. We're going to try to do that without removing the battery. So this did come out with some wiggling. Now note two things. It has a inlet here that goes onto this resonator chamber that is down there in the bottom. You can see it, it's white, and this is the square end that must be wiggled back into the bottom of the air box from underneath, and you cannot really see that. And it may be necessary to take the battery out when we go to replace it, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. Now we turn our attention to the cross member, and to get this cross member out, we're going to have to unbolt this hood latch from the cross member. And I'm hoping that it's just these three visible bolts, one on each side and then one from the vertical stay. The cross member is right here. It has separated very cleanly from this latch assembly, which has the vertical support or stay attached. So now we can turn our attention to the radiator itself, and we note that it has these bushings on the top. We want to remove these and save them to use them with the new radiator. We will have some hoses and electrical connectors to disconnect. There's the whole overflow hose right here for the lower radiator hose that is coming up from down under there. We're going to have to go down under the car to disconnect it from the radiator. For this top radiator hose, it's very easy. And then we have the connector for the fan ECU, which is right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to remove the fan shroud and fan assembly all together in one piece with the radiator. That's always the easiest. One more thing we need to do is disconnect the AC condenser, which is in front of the radiator, and it is held on by 4 bolts. There are 2 on the top, one right here and one right here, and 2 on the bottom down below. And when I go under the car, I also want to disconnect these power steering hoses. And here it is, all in one piece, the fan shroud on the radiator. They came out together. So this fan shroud is not actually bolted on, it is just clamped on. You see 3 clamps on the front, on the top I mean, and 2 clamps in the bottom. And we should be able to just loosen the clamps and disassemble the fan shroud from the radiator. They are separated, and now we're approaching the moment of truth where we see how well the new radiator matches the old radiator. Here's the new radiator. It's an A premium product. I purchased it on Amazon, and it's about $100, a little bit more. And in the video description, I'm going to give you the part number for this radiator for the Camry 2GR-FE. This is the old radiator with the new radiator side by side. Looks like a very good match, and I'm really happy that this new radiator came with this piece of tubing for the transmission oil cooler, because I was very hesitant about reusing this old corroded tubing. And the fan shroud fits perfectly onto the radiator. This is kind of an acid test with these aftermarket radiators. Often the fan shroud does not fit correctly on. So this new radiator came with 2 pieces of tubing. One of them is already installed and it just has to be tightened down, and the other one was hanging off the first one, and it gets installed over here on this nipple, and it has to be tightened down as well as for the second oil cooler hose. These fittings are 19 millimeters, and you can tighten them with a open-end wrench, and just be careful when you're doing it. There's no need to over tighten. It's a conical fitting. Don't forget the bottom bushings. You remove them from the old radiator, you attach them onto the new radiator. I did have to remove the battery to install this intake, and you can see here how it goes. It has a square duct that goes right in the bottom of the air box, and then underneath here where you cannot see, it seals onto the resonator chamber. Now to refill the system, I use this setup right here, a filler funnel. This is really one of the most useful things you can have for filling these coolant systems. And one more very important hint, right down here where I'm going to show you with this light is a purge valve. Okay, hope you can see it. And you use a 10 millimeter socket to open this purge valve while you're filling, and this allows air to come out of the system. So what I've done here is I've put a clear tube on top of the bleed nipple, and you can see the coolant is starting to flow up into this tube, and I'm just rerouting it back into the funnel, and so that if it does come up, it just won't make a mess everywhere. And I'm just going to see how far this is going to rise. And there, it's coming up to a nice level. If I move this tube, it rises even higher. So I think we're good as far as getting the air out of the system. And I'm going to squeeze the hoses a little bit just to make sure I got most of the bubbles out. Then I'm going to close up the purge valve, and I'm going to run the engine. I've started the engine. I'm leaving the funnel right here. I'm going to wait for the thermostat to open. Now I'm going to monitor the engine coolant temperature right here, and this is just to be cautious to make sure that it does not get away from us for any reason. Temperature is now over 70 degrees centigrade, and we get to about 80-85 centigrade. That's when the thermostat should open, and I can verify that the thermostat has opened when this hose right here turns hot. We're at 97 degrees, the fans have just come on, but the lower radiator hose is still cold. I'm going to shut off the engine. So what went on here is that there was apparently air trapped in this lower radiator hose or in the thermostat inlet right there. So by repeatedly squeezing this hose, squeezing it with bubbles coming out here, it finally broke the airlock, and now the coolant is flowing through and the hose has turned hot. So fans are off, all is good. We averted a disaster just by being vigilant. And here you can see that what's happening is exactly what's supposed to happen. After the thermostat opens, any air that remains in the system circulates and flows out through the funnel. You can see the bubbles rising. This completes the repair on this Toyota Camry. And of course we're going to take it out for a test drive. And if there is anything new to add, we'll let you know. But you can just safely assume that this repair was successful. Thank you for watching.